Leave your boots at the door. This is not your grandpa's lake trout setup. Yes, we are not out chasing walleyes in central Minnesota. We're not out catching panfish. We drug all this gear all the way up, hundreds and hundreds of miles or kilometers, depending on how you want to look at it, to Lake Athapapiscow. We're up in northern Manitoba. We're out of Baker's Narrows Lodge. When I say we, I mean we got Brett McComas and Christian Hoffman in the house down the way. We got Mac Mulligan running around. Shout out to Mac for pointing us in the right direction here and getting us all set up. But I guess when I say getting us all set up, I don't mean that he had to get all these foam pads set up and all this crazy camera gear and all kinds of stuff. We'll run through a little bit of the setup, what I got going on here, but this is my fancy lake trout setup, and this thing's probably staying out here overnight because I don't think I'm going to pack this up and reset up tomorrow. We're up here for a few days, and the goal is to catch a big, giant lake trout. I've done a decent amount of lake trout fishing. Most of it has been on Lake of the Woods, and Lake of the Woods can be awesome for action. You can get some nice ones for sure, but if you want to get really big ones, you drive north, and that's what we did. So that's the goal. In this video, we'll put some fish on the ice for you, or on the foam, I should say, and we'll have a lot of fun, and there's fish swimming around underneath me right now, so I'm gonna quit talking to the camera. I went out to grab the food, or to grab some food, and of course I get back in the house and there's a lake trout staring at me. Apparently he just needed a little bit of movement. Alright. He's just rolling over right now, which always freaks me out, especially just below the hole like this. Play them nice and easy here. This is where they pop off usually. Ooh. There we go. That's a nice fish. All right. Beauty. All right, let me close this window quick, because I know this is gonna be bright. He was just hooked on this back treble here. I got a little piece of meat on there, but there we go.
Sweet.
All right, so like I said, I just got this guy on the simple white tube, nothing crazy, no glow, no chartreuse, no red head, nothing like that. And I had a little piece of meat on there. So I'll show you how I actually had that rigged off, because it did tear off that front hook during the battle. So I have it hooked on the back trailer hook, which is actually what the fish ended up being hooked up on that last fight. But then I'll take that meat, I'll hook it on, I'm a mess, I'll hook it on the front treble, or excuse me, the front single hook, and then I'll have it also on the back treble, and then there'll be a little bit left over behind. And this really creates a lot of profile, but more importantly, because the tube itself creates a lot of profile with these tendrils sticking down here, but there's going to be some bulk added by this, and there's also going to be some scent, and some days scent can really make a big difference. I've seen it time and time again. It just pays to have a little bit of meat on there. And this right here is, I believe, well, I got it from Mac. It's either sucker belly or Cisco belly or something like that. The belly meat is really effective because it's a little tougher and it stays on the hook better. So that's the rundown, and I'm going to get it back down and try and catch another one.
All right, so up in Manitoba, we're allowed 2 lines, and for like what we typically do out here for lake trout is we utilize our second line for a dead stick. What we usually do is we lay a big dead bait on the bottom, typically a big Cisco sucker, whatever, just some sort of big bait fish, and we're usually using 2 treble hooks in sequence like this. Nothing crazy, but we're doing 1 hook here, I do 1 hook in the head, and then I do 1 hook up in the back, so that bait is sitting perfectly flat in the bottom. We always lay our baits in the bottom up here so those big fish can come in and scoop them up right off the mud. We do get a lot of big fish in the deadline, so it's super important to utilize your second line when up here fishing for big trout.
So you got the hooks about four inches away from each other?
Yeah.
And this will go right through basically the head, the nose area.
I put this one through the head and then this one through the back.
You do? Okay.
Yeah. Just so as soon as those fish come in to eat it, they're getting a hook in the mouth right away. And I don't have to wait for them to eat it. It's just as soon as they get their mouth on it, there's a hook in their face right away.
Little insulation.
Helps a lot, man. Definitely saves you from having to go check them all the time. So I think if you're having to go check your deadlines all the time, you're missing out on a lot of opportunity at fishing inside the tent, you know? They call me the deadline master. So we'll get that set up. And I always try to make sure that they're set up like parallel to you. So it's like when the guy in the tent's fishing, when that flag goes up, they're able to see it. It's not like straight into them like that. You want them to see the full face of it. So I always try to keep that somewhat in mind.
I like my flag all bent up so you can see it in every direction.
Making paper airplanes out of it or what?
Yeah.
So you can see it every direction.
Oh, and the fishing's slow.
I guess. And for the baits, like I said earlier, we use a lot of these bigger dead baits. So this is just a big Cisco here. Not big, but this is like the smaller size like what we use. This is about a 12-inch long Cisco. And like I was saying, I always do one hook up in the head, right in between the eyes, and then do one right in the back, just like that, just to make sure that those hooks are all facing towards the tail. Because those fish will come in, they'll size it up, and then they scoop it up off the bottom. And this way they're getting hooks in their face right away. And you don't have to wait for them to eat it and turn it around. So I'll send that puppy down there. Perfect. So I just lay these baits right in the bottom, and then I leave the spool open. So it's an open spool. So those fish come in, pick it up, and just start running with it. We see a flag's up. We see Nick run out here in his britches with his bibs off because he'll be down to his slippers and sweatpants.
Yeah, I'm actually bringing out the plow truck so I can I can walk on my my little slippers on.
You want me to lay a trail of foam mats for you?
Yeah,
like stepping stones?
That'd be good.
Would that be incredible?
That would really be something, wouldn't it?
That would be luxury.
That's what you bring out for the real high-end clients.
Yeah, for like the good people.
Yeah, for the people you like.
Yeah. I think this is already down there.
I think you're good, yeah. I think.
How heavy is this braid? Like 20?
That is also 20.
That's fine. Yeah, I lay it on the bottom and I let it a little bit of slack just so they can roll it around, because sometimes they'll come and peck at it. And we'll just set that up like so.
There we go.
Ready
just like that.
Yep. So you keep an eye on that, buddy.
Alright, I'm gonna get you jigging over there.
Okay, good.
I appreciate you.
You bet, dude. I appreciate you.
Alright, we'll talk to you later.
I want to see this
talk to you soon.
trail.
Alright, I'll start working on it right now. There's one coming off the side there. He's about 20 feet out to the left. See if we can get his attention. I think he sees me. He's not attacking yet, but oh, now he's attacking. Ready? Look at him fly up. He's kind of coming in more when I stop. I'm going to drop it, make him chase down. He's swiping at it. I love that. How cool is that to watch? I'm going to bring it back up. See if we can get him to bite on the way up here. Ooh. Come on. We're going to drop it again. See if we can get him to come on over here and grab it. Oh yeah. Look at that. How cool is that? Come on, buddy. Grab it. We're gonna give him a throwback. I have a rattle bait. Actually, I wish I had a little bit of a heavier bait to drop down there, but I do have this rattle bait right here that we can put down. See if that gets a little bit of a different reaction from him. These fish are like such keen hunters. We're barely down, I guarantee you. Yeah, we're 20 feet down. I know that he knows that I'm here. It's like he's slowly swimming away. At some point I'm going to stop and rip it and try and get his attention. This is one of my walleye rods, so I don't even have braided line on here. Let's stop about halfway down, give them a rip. Little rattle. Nice of him to wait around for me here. Ooh, here he comes. We're just gonna keep on dropping it past him here. Alright, let's take it away from him. There we go. The rattle bait did the trick. Tighten that drag a little bit. We're in deep water, so I really gotta horse him. This is not braided line. That was cool though. Little bait switch and you finally get him to go. It's not a big fish. I'll unhook him quick. Try not to get a hook in myself. This guy is still fired up. There he is. I'll get him right back. And back down to the depths like that. He's in a hurry. So anyway, that was a cool little sequence. This is not like your ideal lake trout setup. This is basically just my walleye rod. Precision power. You know, it's like a good strong rod, but it's not rigged up with braided line. I just had it in my box and I said, you know what? I've got my other lake trout rod out on the dead stick, and then I'm actively jigging with this one. But what the heck? Why not grab my other walleye rod? Just in case I want to put a little throwback down there. So just a little ripping shad fish. And I probably don't want to end up with this setup if I hook a 40-incher, but it'll get the job done for those little guys. Oh, there we go. That was cool. So that fish, I noticed that it was not willing to come up at all. So I basically just took my bait and just laid it on the bottom. And I kept a tight line. And I watched my rod tip. And basically, I had a tight line, and I watched the rod tip, and the rod tip just popped up 1/4 inch. So that's how I knew the fish grabbed the bait. Super simple, but that's kind of a tactic guys use up here is the fish like to grab it off the bottom. All right, let's try not to lose this fish at the hole. All right, we just reeled up to the leader here. I got about 15 feet of leader line. Come on, big boy. Ooh, that's an okay fish. It's a pretty good one. All right. He's hooked pretty good. He's got the big hook. There we go. All right. Check that guy out right there. Take the white tube right there on the big barbless hook. And then he also got the trailer hook too. This fish was not going anywhere. He's got both hooks right there. Even if it's barbless, it's kind of hard to dig out if you got a couple of those treble hooks in there. Or a couple of the tines of the treble hook. There we go. Beautiful lake trout. There she goes. Unless you just send them down, it's hard to actually get them down without getting wet. So, once again, that guy went on the white tube with a little bit of meat. I was playing around with some wild baits earlier. I got this big giant flutter spoon that I was messing around with. Caught one on a rattle bait earlier, but that's pretty much my go-to. I'll run through my setup right now. So this is the 44-inch LTP, big heavy duty, kind of parabolic bend, but a lot of backbone for fighting and also just landing, getting good hook sets. I have it tied up with 20-pound braid, and then I have a 20-pound fluorocarbon leader, and the fluorocarbon leader is basically 15 to 20 feet long. And then actually I cut off the end here and put a little swivel because these baits are dancing around, and you're gonna get a bunch of line twist if you don't. So the swivel is about 2.5 feet down from the bait. So that's pretty much the run through. Heavy duty gear for one of the toughest stinking fish in fresh water. There we go. Wow, he came up and creamed it. Halfway up, you can see him on the scope, 40 feet down. Keep him pinned pretty tight. Barbless hooks. 20 feet down. Always, when you got barbless hooks, the best thing you can do is just keep it really tight. Keep the fish pinned. But the tricky part is right at the hole where we're at right now. I can see him swimming around down there. It gets really tough. You got to make sure they don't get stuck on the side of the hole there. That's another nice fish. There we go. He's hooked really good. Man, he just came in and crunched it. Ate it deep. Got that big hook. And right out, barbless. Show this beauty off right here. How's that? Another beautiful, gorgeous laker. This thing is as clean as they come. And I love those stinking fins, those white-tipped fins. Cool. Beautiful fish. That was awesome. It's really interesting, like, the last fish I caught, I felt like I had to sort of work. And he wouldn't quite come up and commit. I'll get this guy back down right away. There he goes. That last fish wouldn't come up and commit, so I had to lay my bait down on the bottom and essentially use my rod tip as like a spring bobber. And when the fish grabbed it and I saw the rod tip come up a little bit, I set the hook. This last one is one of those fish where it sees the bait from a distance and it comes in like a torpedo and drills it. So different moods of fish, different strategies to catch them. But either way, I'm jacked. It's like, that one's my favorite. Like, it's really cool when they pick it up off the bottom, but it's way cooler when they come in like a torpedo and just bang it. There's one following me on the drop. Ooh, that was cool. Oh no, he popped off. Popped off. All right, where'd he go? They take off pretty quick when they take off. Is he on the bottom? Oh no, there's a couple up there. That was so cool. Holy cow. I had to check to make sure LiveScope was recording. That was nuts. Oh my gosh. He's going to be so angry when he gets in the hole. Ho, 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 ho. Ooh, this one is a beautiful fish. Wow, look how dark this one is. How cool is that? That's a laker of a different color. And I love, ooh, he's got a messed up eye. Thank God for barbless hooks. I'll flip it over to the other side here. Not to hide the messed up eye, but just to show you really quick. Look at his mouth. With the white stripe on his mouth. Yeah, well, he has that on both sides. But it's really, really stinking pretty. All right. Awesome lake trout. How stinking fun is that? And that strike was unreal. I'm going to get him back. Ooh, there we go. Man, that has me all jacked up. Honestly, chasing walleyes all season, pretty much. Not completely exclusively, but 90-something% of the time chasing walleyes. This past winter, to have that fish come in about 100 miles an hour and crank me just below the ice here, so stinking fun. I feel like I'm just amped up. I can't tell if it's the caffeine or the ridiculous ridiculous bite. Holy cow. All right. So we just caught those fish basically back to back. Nice solid fish, but some crazy, crazy awesome strikes on the live scope. And I got the message from Mac that we were gonna be wheels on the road at 5:30, and right now it's 5 o'clock exactly. So I think this is the end of the road for us because I got all these stinking mats, I got tackle, I have tables and camera gear and the house to break down, and I'm doing it all by myself. So I better start packing right now as much as it hurts me. But how awesome was this stinking day? Just good lake trout action, some really cool strikes on the scope. So I'm gonna get all packed up. What a fun day. Thank you for watching. I love lake trout on the ice. I fish 90% walleyes on the ice, at least this past season. Some years I'll fish for more panfish and whatnot, maybe some pike, but lake trout, my number one favorite to target. We don't have as many good opportunities around home. So what an awesome trip, or what an awesome day up here on Lake Athapapiscow. Shout outs to Baker's Narrows, and we'll see you in the next video.